It's about damn time. Normally, this would be the part where my intro would come in. But, no. This game doesn't deserve it. It didn't pull any punches on doubling and tripling down on what the fans hate. And I'm not gonna pull my punches on this game. I've already did a playthrough for the channel, but I was trying to do it for entertainment's sake, even though not only did the game piss me off because I was remembering how bad it played, but also the damn server crashed when I finally got a playthrough of the game up. Not crashed, but rather shut down. So unlike Jackie and Jax, I'm not going to be holding back my punches when I review the pros and cons of this game. So with that said, round one, fight! Oh look, the microtransactions are real with this one. And on top of the fact that there's a definitive Ultimate Edition for Mortal Kombat 11, which is what I should have named this, unfortunately there is still lingering microtransactions in the shop that you can buy. On top of the fact there's Chronica Spears, which you're going to need for the crypt, and moreover, microtransactions on two different phone games. The Mortal Kombat phone game, which you have to link to the Mortal Kombat 11 game, and also Mortal Kombat Onslaught, which is no longer a thing. No wonder it's a 2025 Hall of Shame inductee. Don't even get me started on the crypt. You need to go through a lot of things just so that you can get all the unlockables, and even then they're timed unlockables, which you might as well add them to microtransactions because you couldn't get them all unless you download Ultimate Definitive Edition, because that's the only way you can get the updates. On top of having Chronica Spears, which basically is just ridiculous. They don't need any more microtransactions. And it's bad enough there's death traps and bugs and everything else that tries to kill you along the way. Mind you, in order for you to get any protection from all of those, guess where you need to go? The Towers of Time, which by the way is tied to a live service and a live server. So if the server goes, no Towers of Time and no crypt for you. Everything else except for classic, training, and the story, as well as multiplayer, will be locked. And aside from trolling people on Twitter, this is what Ed Boon and NetherRealm thinks of you completing the crypt. They obviously don't give a damn. Otherwise they wouldn't put anything like this right here to show you that they don't give a damn. And to everybody who is crying about X-ray spam, at least you only have to deal with that once per battle. No, the real threat is crushing blows. You could just come off of being hit by a fatal blow, just like I just did just now, and all of a sudden, one hit, you pretty much turn the tide. But the worst part about it is, crushing blows are RNG, so even if you do meet the condition of getting them, you might not even get a crushing blow at all, just like in this match that I have right here. And the worst part, when it does happen, kiss all of your health goodbye, or most of it. That's not good gameplay at all! Now would be a good time to talk about realistic proportions. They're just jarring to look at. The failure attempts at censorship is just absolutely jarring to look at. And speaking of jarring, this person right here. Tell me, why? Why did she need to try to erase the world for balance? What balance? Let alone, why does she need Cetrion? Cetrion's a failure. Why does she need a crown? She's supposed to be a titan and supposed to be stronger than the one being. In fact, why did she need Shang Tsung to make it? It's all freaking confusing. Yeah, and Raiden decapitated Shinnok. By the way, still alive, and a head on the Bone Temple. Whatever happened after that? What was her sole general purpose? Because we all thought it would be revenge for Shinnok. After all, Shinnok was her son. But clearly, that's not the case. And while we're on the subject, Shinnok made a very good point. It's impossible to kill an Elder God, so how the hell Cetrion actually succeeded in that? It's the same case with Kung Jin, trying to be justified for literally being the cause of, or at least one of the causes, of the good guys not being able to being brought back. And that is tell not show. Why in the world would you have that kind of writing style? That's what ruined 10. And now that's what ruined this game too. At least 10 can justify it with a good comeback. You can't say that here. And to make things even worse, Kronika's existence in a nutshell. She is the biggest point of contention for a reason. Because NetherRealm wanted the first female fighting game boss, even though, let's be blunt, there's Chizuru from King of Fighters 96. There's also Vice and Mature who are declared bosses. There's Phase 4. All of this existed before Kronika. Oh, let's not forget about Mildred Avalon. We got more bosses that exist before this particular boss. Ed Boon's delusional, and so was Dominic Cianzolo and Scott Kittleson, especially with the retcons. Speaking of retcons, Sonya Blade died in the assault on the Bone Temple. Well, guess what? Along with Kronika bringing back the Bone Temple and many people that happened to be in the past fighting in the Colosseum at the time, her plan would have already been ruined because Sonya Blade's alive, and if anything happens to the past selves of the Revenants would be killed. But unfortunately, they didn't think about that, now did they? And in the grand scheme of things, Cassie Cage being made to look strong, the Revenants fighting against their past selves, Liu Kang fusing with Raiden, Woke Jax, Frost's betrayal, Shao Kahn leading a whole bunch of armies against him. One important fact remains: Kronika has the ability to erase everyone from existence, save for certain people who are fixed points in time. Which begs the question, why is this story so lacking of common sense? Well, I'll tell you why it's lacking common sense. Ed Boon. That's the only person you could blame, because at the time, John Tobias was not in the company. If he allows overpaid rookies like Dominic Cianzolo and Sean Kittleson to ruin the story, if he allows the combat cast to drive away the fans, and moreover, if he allows terrible gameplay mechanics that constantly plague the series, then of course things is not going to change. He has to make those changes. He has to work with John Tobias to make those changes for the better. And I doubt he will. Maybe, depending on how Netflix works. Oh, and one more thing. Skins are not customization, and neither is preventing people from naming their variations. Get it right, Ed. Round 2. Fight! First off, for the pros, we have to honor the late and great Kerry Tagawa, as he literally carried Aftermath. His performance was astounding. Moreover, this is the last performance he will ever be as Shang Tsung in a Mortal Kombat franchise. He literally made the character. But you want to know what else? Dan Forden made the soundtrack. The soundtrack, I gotta say, is absolutely memorable. Why is it that terrible games have good soundtracks? I don't understand that, but Dan Forden went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and this, unfortunately, would be his last rodeo, as he would play little part in the music direction in Mortal Kombat 12, Electronic Time Boogaloo with Chaos Sprinkles. But there's one thing that is better than all of that: the fatalities. Quite frankly, this is the only reason I would get this game. The fatalities. with the exception of Cetrions and Sonya Blades and some others, there were some really good fatalities in this game. Yes, they have the Injustice stop motion, but doesn't stop them from being all the more brutal, so brutal that my video of me killing Devora as Melina has been deleted by YouTube because, well, the YouTube humans are assholes. But nonetheless, the fatalities is what truly make this game, and if you're going to play this game, that's the only reason. And yes, even Joker's fatality is brutal as well. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm done with this game. Let's get on with the rating, shall we? With the pros and cons compiled, it is now time to give a rating to this game. After having a captive audience, you somehow, someway managed to shit the bed. There's only one price to pay for such colossal failure. Hit the music! This game made 6 million copies. Still doesn't stop it from getting the Conda Award. The fact that the PC was literally in de novo hell, might as well call that a microtransaction. The fact that it was under a live service, which is currently shut down. The fact that you had, despite an ultimate version, more skins and voices tied to 2 phone games, not 1. The censorship, the terrible story, crushing blows, and moreover, the terrible quote-unquote customization, which, by the way, you still need to know the difference from because Armageddon at least did that right. Still, not even Dan Forden's musical scores or Kerry Tagawa's final performance could save this game. This game will only be remembered for fatalities, and that's it, because nothing else would make you want to play. It's just that bad, and it had so much potential, and they squandered it on politics and everything else. They had a captive audience, and it was trying to find a modern audience that didn't exist. And that's why NetherRealm shot itself in the foot. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next review.